Think about it. Think about it. 2 trillion thoughts.
What up, though? 2 trillion thoughts on a Thursday. You gotta love it. Beautiful, beautiful day. Let me read my calendar. I think it's dope. Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to bed at night saying we've done something wonderful, that's what matters to me. Steve Jobs. That must have been after he was a jerk to his daughter and everybody else. But it still sound good. Hey, buddy, how are you, man? Hope you're doing good out there in the Virginia. I can't remember if you Maryland, DMV. I know you out there in the DMV. You on your mom's laptop or your mom's sign in. I'll be remembering. How about that? Hope you guys are having an amazing day. June 10th. A lot going on in the world. The Atlanta Hawks are in the playoffs. How about that? Against the Sixers. That's one thing. Milwaukee about to get swept in the NBA. That's a whole nother thing. And Deshaun Watson still can't get no love in Houston. I'm gonna go ahead and say that out loud since nobody else won't. They hating on Deshaun, and Deshaun ain't never gonna get no love if they don't stop playing with that grown man, like for reals, grown man style. Y'all playing with him at this point. Y'all gotta let him be great. All the Houston Texan fans out there, you already know what I'm talking about. But I'm excited about tonight. Big shout out to my daughter, Jameson. So we play this game. It's so childish, but it's awesome. So when I was in high school, we used to do our fingers like this. Or, I can't even, what's wrong with me? We would go like this, but it would have to be below your belt. And if you say, hey, man, look at my shoes, and they look down, you get to hit them, right? But for us, if they went like this and you stuck your finger in there, like reach down real quick, you can hit them twice. Well, Jameson has this game where you go like this, just simple, 4 fingers and a thumb put together. They gonna slap the back of your neck, or you gotta slap the back of your neck. So we just be like, hey man, know what's crazy? Now, Lanika them jumped into a realm that she don't want to. Earlier this morning, I was asleep, going after my work sleep. And she woke me up, and she said, hey, babe. And then she slapped me real hard. Now, that's the part I wasn't ready for. So that's what we doing around here. Shout out to Jameson. Bigger shout out to my amazing wife, Lee Nika Fanay. I was on a love and relationship show with Tiffany Butler. Tiffany spelled Tiphanie. Always like them Tapahanis. Them Tapahanis when you read it. But we know it's Tiffany. And that was real cool. That was on our affiliate in Chicago, Rejoice. I want to say WYCA, but I'm barely thinking about it. So tonight is a great friend of mine from Canada. The dude is the quadruple OG of their whole country. Now, for the Americans watching right now, we in North America, right? Above us is Canada and below us is Mexico. But can you name 2 provinces in Canada? Can you name one of the 44 states in Mexico? It's because America makes, when we're in grade 5, they say we're going to learn the capitals and we're going to learn the states, all 50 states and capitals. And we like, But then they leave out Canada. On that same day, they could have said, Canada called their states provinces. So you would live in the province of California. You would live in the province of Texas. You know what I'm saying? We'd have learned that real quick. I believe it's 10 provinces, 2 territories, and a place called Nunavut, which I have been to. Actually, it's about 10 miles from the North Pole. Kenny gonna tell you about it. But then that same day, they could have said, and Mexico also is part of North America. But they just put a giant line in between it, and they just put Mexico. Dirty. 44 states. Mexico City is the second biggest city on the whole planet. Who wouldn't remember that? And it's on our continent, North America. But we believe we're so smart challenge here in America that they would lead us to believe that America is the continent and we're the only people on it. But I digress. I don't even want to talk about America right now. I ain't got the time. What I would like to do is bring on my homeboy. Y'all gonna love him. Y'all gonna love him. You gonna love him. You gonna love him. That's all I'm gonna say, ladies and gentlemen. And please comment and everything. Thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate you. I'm doing a giveaway next week. I'm real excited about that. I'll tell you about that tomorrow or at the end of the show. But right now, I give you Kenny Robinson. Go ahead, Kenny. Take it away, brother. You're supposed to be taking it away now, brother. Oh, there you go. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you, I like to talk to people who inspired me, who encouraged me, and really people who've known me for a long time just so I could get a recount of what I used to be like to what I am now. This brother, and it's weird because he'll tell you out of anybody, comparisons and comedy ain't good. But when we say affectionately, he is the Richard Pryor of Canada and the whole, all the provinces, is because the black comedians weren't even on the scene. So when they did come, he was still not like the Canadian black comedians who was all chipper, and he gave them that raw, and they loved him ever since. One of my great friends, a father, a avid hockey fan, and a political enthusiast. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Robinson.
Hey, good to see you, my man.
Kenny, I love you, man. I just want to say that first. It's I've
we
known
get
you.
Stupid when we get together.
Let me tell y'all how long I've known him. In April of '97, I came to Detroit. My mother lived, my Aunt Paula lived in Rochester Hills, which is all the Detroit Pistons and them lived in Rochester. Like, it was the nicest neighborhood. But then at night, I would go to the hood and be with Coco, Mike Bonner, downtown Tony Brown, rest in peace, Big Daddy Fitz, who would drive a car to Utah, a long Cadillac.
There's 600 comics in it.
Yeah. But Kool-Aid, rest in peace to Kool-Aid too. But
Bobo Lamb.
The deep Bobo Lamb, the Detroit comedians, Joe Blunt, Spanky Hayes, Howie Bell. I mean, you know,
Snow Cone.
It was a nice section of comedians. Horace H.B. Sanders. Man, Detroit comedians introduced me to Canada. So after I learned Detroit and was like, oh, the Midwest, and I got family here, and they really cool, you know. And as I started staying more, it was Kool-Aid who brought me to Toronto first. And you were like, they all said, well, you know, if you cool with Kenny, you could perform at Yuck Yucks, but Mark Breslin and Kenny don't, you know. But your whole beef with any American, anybody, was, if you're not funny, we're going to expose you and you can't come on. So like that was, and this is before YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Like, you was really, tell me, when you think of April of '97, homie, what do you think about?
When I first met you, I think you went up, before I met you doing my show, you went and did a show for Magnum.
Wow.
Rest in peace.
Another rest in peace. Why we outlived all these?
Well, maybe because Magnum was the kind of man that used to try to sneak out the back door when it's time to pay you. So
Magnum had a target on him. Big Daddy Fitz and Kool-Aid went too soon. Magnum is a
those guys jumped the line, unfortunately. But anyway, you had done what the hell is that? The Bamboo Club. Now the Bamboo was like a reggae club, and it was owned by, like, Catherine O'Hara's brothers owned it and shit, right?
Wow.
So they were the money behind that, the Queen Street hipster kind of thing. So Magnum managed to convince them to do comedy in there because I was turning people away from the Yuck Yuck shows on Sunday.
Yeah, he was.
So Magnum was coming to the club and just grabbing guys as they stepped off my stage. He was all kinds of way disrespectful, right?
Right.
So anyway, you popped into the club after doing the Bamboo, and you said, "I'm comedian Griff. I'm blah, 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 and I just got a standing ovation at the Bamboo." And I said, "That don't mean shit because the Bamboo only got 8 stools." Because the Bamboo was built for dancing and having you stand there, not be comfortable, and drink all night.
That's all it was.
So when I said they only got 8 seats, you know, if you never said hello, they'd still been standing. So you laughed and said, "You stupid." And you know, gonna tell me about a standing ovation in a room with no chairs.
Boy, I'm talking about, and it's funny because I remember saying that to you, and I remember how quick your "so what" was. Like, it wasn't even, I couldn't even say nothing but laugh. Yeah, it was. I said 11 or something because the bouncer they gave him 1 too. So
Yeah, the rest his legs on. But you know, so it was but the Bamboo was a great club, you know, and that was a whole different scene. But you know, so then from then on, put you on and you tore the shit out of the room. You know, you did a whole thing about our forefathers when they come up with the Second Amendment, they did drive-bys with muskets. And then you did a whole bit about don't need batteries. So then you did the thing when you get a cap and you get a brick and pop, 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 how you just smash them on the ground because you didn't have a toy gun. All you had was the caps and a brick, didn't need batteries. So, I mean, you know, you just brought it was impossible not to love you at first sight, man. You just brought such a great joy and enthusiasm and intelligence with it. And, you know, and you had all your belongings in a hockey bag. And you were the first Black American I ever met that had a hockey bag.
it was the biggest thing that I could put a VCR, because the PlayStation wouldn't hook up to the TV. I had to hook it up to the VCR and run it out. So I had my PlayStation 1, a VCR, hella shoes, and a proper goalie hockey bag. It was blue and white.
And everything FUBU made. Because when you came and did my TV show, you were wearing the Cosby line, which we hadn't even seen here.
Damon had gave it to me, sent it to me.
Oh, okay. Well, we had never even seen it. So when you walk in going, and you had that big gold chain, you kept polishing every time. Look at, where's Griff? Oh, he's polishing his medallion somewhere. You still got that, or his life made you part with it?
Oh, after I went to Africa, I was like, I hate this thing so much. Like,
you saw the misery of where it came from.
I understood it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Too bad women still want diamonds.
We just need to send everybody that's our color over there for about a week, dog. A strong week. It don't matter how old you are. It has to be in our Constitution that you got to go to Africa if you African. On America, they pay for it, and you go there for a week, and you get put up.
Because they won't let us come back. They
probably be all for. They done got Delta involved, United, Air Canada, dog. Oh yeah, they want to go back home, huh? Good.
It'd be a Tom Joyner boat cruise taking brothers back to Africa. You know, but like you got me into South Africa. I was there for 3 weeks because you put me, you vouched for me, and every night there was trouble for me.
Why?
Because. Well, as I said to the audience, you're all offended me, but then the concept of one man, one vote is pretty new to y'all. So,
I gotta stop drinking. You gonna?
And I love that, and I love the whole political scene there, because like Joe Parker said to me, in America, you just try to pay your mortgage, raise your children, but in this country, history is being made every day you wake up. You don't know who's gonna be running the government when you wake up.
Ain't that? I mean, with a straight face though, like not laughing.
No, and I could laugh because I was leaving in 2.5 weeks. But when I was there, it was President Molina.
No, Jacob Zuma.
No, Zuma, I think Molina was head of, Zuma, but Molina was ahead of the ANC at that point. And I think it was said, which was one that had sex with somebody with unprotected AIDS, and he says because he took a shower.
He took a shower. He can't. That's Jacob Zuma.
Yeah, and I said all them years, American Brother's been wearing the shower cap on the wrong head. Oh yeah.
Tell him, how is it for a Canadian? So you got a lot of factors about you that's really cool. You got Chicago roots.
Yeah.
So here you are, a Canadian. What province are you from?
I'm from Manitoba, which is like north of North Dakota.
Manitoba.
Yeah. So you know, so the way, well, not my.
I was in Why Not. How far is Minot?
Minot's probably about 2.5 hours. There used to be an Air Force base.
That's where my son was. No, it was an Air Force base. It's still there.
And on the weekends back in the day, the American troops, the GIs, would come up and be tagging Caucasian trim for days. You know? Some of them almost get AWOL because they couldn't leave it alone to get back in time.
Man.
Back in the disco days.
Man, drive that 2.5 and be there, huh?
Yeah, and their dollar went further and they was sharp and, you know, novelty. Because, you know, they're not like, you know, in Winnipeg was a small Black community, so everybody from there knew everybody.
Yeah.
So, you know, and so if it was somebody that you didn't know, you know, and he, you know, always you called them Yankees. Oh yeah, she's seeing this Yank come up from the base. Yeah. So that was how they drew them apart. But that was, you know, but later on, well, it's always been either a Yank from the base or you was CFL.
How about that? Canadian Football League.
Yeah, you know, so, but was the whole thing different with my bloodlines. My father was born in New York City, and his father was a pimp and a gambler, and I know about his name was Lovey Joe. Well, anyway, my grandmother got sick. And her family were originally from St. Catharines. They were, Chatham. They were Underground Railroad Negroes.
So you Black on both sides?
No.
Okay.
My father's people are.
Your father's people. Okay.
Right. So when my grandmother got sick, my father sent her and my father up to Winnipeg, where my dad's Aunt Maggie was living.
Now, what is Winnipeg close to? Where is that at?
It's like north of North Dakota. So imagine going from New York City to Minot.
Damn.
But that's where he shipped his daughter, this son and sick wife that he didn't want to be bothered with no more, because my grandmother had a sister up in Winnipeg.
Got it.
So that's how my Black roots got to Winnipeg, and then my dad grew up in there. But we got to Chicago because my mom. She was sexually harassed by her employer, but they didn't have human relation boards, workman comp boards, nothing like that.
Human resources.
So every time her boss would lean his dick up against her shoulder, her rubber shoulders, my mother would take some money out of the accounts because she was their bookkeeper.
Huh, man. Your mama was skimming the books.
She awarded her own claim.
So, man.
So when she got busted, she did 10 days in jail before my dad was able to get a farmer to put his farm up as bail. And when she was 8 months pregnant with me, so I was doing time before I come out, right? So I've been happy. I ain't done more than overnight in jail since, but you know, it didn't look good for me and the fetus, you know. So, but the lawyer,
you locked up. It's dark. You locked up.
and she's up there. You know, my dad had snuck her a bottle of that 1911 cologne because you know there wasn't regular bathing and shit, and she didn't want to be funky. So anyway, she gets bailed out and got a new lawyer just out of law school, and he tells these people that well, look, if we go to court, Elaine's going to have to tell you all about the 2 sets of books that she's been keeping. The one set for your family and the one set for Revenue Canada. So they said, well, we don't need to go to court. If she makes restitution, that's all we want. So after my mother paid back
So what
35,
kind of job was she at? What kind of
a
job?
bookkeeper for a chicken for a produce for a chicken supply company.
So your mom was smart off gate, accountant.
Yeah. Yeah, she always said if she could have gone to college, which she could have done, but she had that grade 9 education, but learned how to do books because that was a bookkeeping job open.
Yeah,
You know,
straight up.
And so they made
learned how to hit them off the top and not get and nobody see.
So they told her if you make restitution, but after the second week or the second month of making restitution, I think she stole like $8,000 or something. But 1957, 58, that was big money.
That was $500,000, dog. Like
in Canadian. So my mother said to my dad, well, there's no way I can pay this restitution back. Let's just skip town. So they flipped a coin, heads New York, tails Chicago, and it landed tails. So that's how I became a Chi-Town hustler.
What year is this? A Chi-Town. Listen, hey.
It was 1958.
Oh man.
And we left town in an Oldsmobile that they'd only made 2 payments on. So and wrote bad checks all the way for gas. Straight up criminal. In fact, on my mom's deathbed, after she had a pacemaker put in her heart, and when you get certain medicine in you and after having surgery, so she's up there babbling to herself, and she's up there, I guess you could say I was kind of crooked. And I said, shut up, no time to confess now. To these strangers.
Hey, I have always loved and admired your relationship with your mom, and it reminds me of my mom, and just how real she kept everything to you. So you grew up in the Chi, and then what brought you to Canada, Toronto, or Ontario proper?
Well, once again, long story. My mother caught me trying to sneak a knife to school when I was grade 9.
In high school in Chicago, you was bringing knives to school
because I was getting my ass whooped.
In 70? What was that, 70?
72, 73.
Okay.
So so I said, well, I may have to cut a boy if I can't take no more ass whoopings. So my mother caught me with the knife. I wasn't that smart about it. So she said, well, I can't lose you to these streets here. So she sent me up to Winnipeg to go to high school.
And stay with your auntie.
With my
your great aunt.
With my aunt. And with my aunt, with her sister. Okay. And both of them broads were some tough North End Scandinavian girls. Both married black men. Whereas my mom was criminally orientated. My aunt was do everything by the book.
Awesome. I love the two different. I got one like that too. That's awesome.
So my aunt would say, lay down with dogs, get up with fleas. And my mom would say, well, everybody's gonna get in a little trouble down the way. So so my mother taught me to take $1 and enjoy it. And then my aunt taught me to get $1 and hold it tight because later on you might not have $1 to enjoy, but you need $1 that you need.
Oh, man.
So I had 2 schools raising me.
Oh, man, that's dope. I love it.
But I went up to Winnipeg just, I was, I guess I was a nerdy kind of kid. I wasn't drinking or trying to, but also wasn't a very good hockey player. And if you weren't a hockey player, you didn't fit in, but so I tried out for a bunch of teams in grade 10, and the last team I made, I broke my ankle on the last practice before our first game, which meant hockey's over. So what I did was so I'd still go to the games and I'd hang out with all the girls that were going out with guys on the team. I'd be up in the bleachers with my cast in the leg,
and
I was making them girls laugh. So I said, well, you don't have to be Bobby Hull to get some. You could be Rich Little. You could be Rodney Dangerfield. You could be Don Rickles. And then later on I learned you could be Richie Pryor. But, so breaking my ankle probably was the best thing for me. Well, I wouldn't have gone too far in my hockey anyway. I would have been the worst on the team. And, why is he always on the bench? Well, we ain't got that big of a lead yet. So.
Right. I wanted to ask you about this guy right here. We know him as Darren Frost.
There we go.
When you think of Darren Frost, what comes to your mind first, Kenny Robinson?
There's so many things. A heart 10 times bigger than him. First guy to jump on a grenade, and you got to tell him, but it's a dud. Get back in the foxhole. Got to talk him off the roof because he's got his sniper rifle set up.
Yeah.
I said, too many SWAT teams around us. Been willing to fight my fight more than I would fight my fight.
Oh, man.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Frost say they disrespect you. And I say, well, not if I don't pay no attention. Fuck that. So best friend a man could hope for, You
not saying nothing bad about Kenny Robinson around Darren Frost. You understand me? You have to take that in the street, in the club. Frosty, what up, though?
It's a sin what the Canadian show business has done to Kenny Robinson. Any festival that has a nasty or dirty show that hasn't had Kenny Robinson on is not a festival, in my opinion. I'm calling out all the festivals in Canada. I don't care if I never play them again. When I actually did the Winnipeg Comedy Festival, I asked Kenny if I could do this, and he said no. But I was going to have a T-shirt on that said, "Where's Kenny?" Because I wanted to send a message to all those fucks that it's like, if you're going to have a dirty show and you're not going to have the Godfather of Dirty from our country on it, it doesn't make any sense.
Straight up.
What Kenny has done for our industry in Canada and North America for decades will not be matched again in this country. And what I really get crazy about is I talk to all these people that can book someone, and I don't know if we can swear on here, but you can beep it out.
It's too late. You already, go ahead.
Exactly. My attitude is quit telling somebody they're great, pay their rent, cunt. Meaning, if you have a gig or you have a show where you can throw someone some money, yeah, it's great. You can tell me how great I am, but you know what? This ain't doing nothing for my bills or my kids or my mental health, which is a huge problem in the last year and a half. None of us are working. None of us are making money. But for some people like, Kenny and others, it's just another stroll in the park that they've made it this far, and they're going to keep going because they've learned that they don't need everyone. As long as they keep their eye on the prize on why they started in this business, they will keep moving forward. And it's something that hundreds of comics in this country look up to, and it's a sin that not more people know who Kenny is.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's from a Canadian. This is not. I'm an American who love him, but that's from a. How long you been doing comedy, Frosty?
31 years.
Exactly. So. Yes. I'm 26 only, and it's still bowed down to Kenny. So if that dude say it, y'all need to understand how special and rare of a treasure he is to the country. I'm Frost.
It's like one time I tried to showcase for the Nasty Show at Just for Laughs, and the person booking it said, "I didn't know you were nasty." I said, "Well, that's why you don't book me on all the other shows, because I'm nasty." So, but now I don't think I'm that nasty because the whole world's caught up with nastiness.
I don't know, Kenny. You could. It's.
I still got to
Frost, right?
No,
Frost.
He's still nasty. He's still nasty. And anyone that's got a 10-minute bit about how Nana loves the dick, what is that? Your Blue's Clues set? I don't know what you're talking about.
For the people who I thought all comedians was, nasty and raunchy. That's what's funny. You know how in let's say baseball. They got the farm leagues. They got the AAA, the AA, and the minor league. Well, if everybody was in the AAA, which is you can get a call any minute to go to the Yankees or the Dodgers or whoever. Kenny was already playing for 15 years.
Yeah,
cussing. We call it, white people down here call it blue.
Yep. That's the name of one of my CDs.
Kenny's a blue comic, blue comic. Like, and for to put it in ratio, what's the guy who was on the Good Wholesome Show with the twins, the dad?
The Full House with Bob Saget.
Bob Saget is a blue comedian
Yes.
that nobody knows because
Right.
he's always played these good, wholesome, America's funniest videos. But when I tell you the raunchiest mouth,
Oh, by far.
that's Kenny Robinson. And the fact that he can go clean real quick, he's so genius. Frost, let me ask you, when I say Kenny Robinson to you, not counting none of the other stuff you said, what does that mean to you?
So to me, I've always said that Kenny's like a three-headed dragon, right? You've got his own idea of what we just talked about, his own comedy. Then you have to step outside of that and look what he's done for the business of comedy in our country by starting a night called the Nubian Disciples of Prior in 1995. What a lot of people don't realize, if you haven't been around, comedy in the 90s was not good for urban comedy or black comedy or any form of other comedy than white comedy. I know it's hypocritical for me to say that, but I knew that even back then. And Kenny had to start a night because there was no black comedy going on in Toronto in a comedy club. So he started a Sunday night, which sold out and has sold out for more than 25 years.
Easy.
Once a month on a Sunday. So when you look at just the idea of what that does, like you've got guys like Russell Peters that has openly said that Kenny's a mentor to him. Absolutely. You have guys like Jean Paul. You have guys like Ron Jossel, myself. Even though I've never done a Nubian show because I felt I didn't want to take a spot away, I've been probably 20, 30 times just to watch it and support it. Easy. So that's the second head of the dragon. Then you've got the third of what he's done for charity and his work that he's done with underprivileged youth and other aspects of the world. It's such an amazing career that he has. And he is also someone that's gotten awards for it. He got the Phil Hartman Award here at the Canadian Comedy Awards, which is a big award. It's for someone that's done something for the business and, you know, charity work. And there's only been 3 or 4 people that have gotten that award, and he's one of them. I mean, these aren't small accomplishments.
That award's a kiss of death, though.
Yeah, because everyone else is dead but Kenny.
Straight up.
Knock it on this wood.
Darren Frost, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just tuning in, you hearing a triple OG getting loved by somebody who came up to him. Okay, here, let me ask you this from an American's view. So when you say top 5 black Canadians, Darren, of all time, who is in your top 5? And not in the order like Kenny's first, so-and-so second, just your top 5 that you could think of off your head with 31 years in the game. Top 5 black Canadians since you started.
Definitely Russell Peters is there. There's no doubt about it for top 5. You've got a guy, and what I love about comedy is different than other people. I love people that work hard. And I don't care if you're 1 year in or 25 years in. If you're still working hard, you get my respect. There's guys like Ron Jossel, who's like become a worldwide phenomenon with his touring and his hard work. He's another one. You've got Jean Paul, another one. Then you've got some old school guys that haven't been around in a while, but even they would be into it, like Orson Payne back in the day would just kill. You got Ronnie Edwards. There's countless comics that they may not be on the TV shows, as we know have been in a long time. TV is great. It gets your name out there, but there is hundreds of comics that are hilarious. And, you know, thank God for the internet that it's opened it up a little bit for these comics to be seen and heard. And these are people that have to be looked at and taken into account that they made a big difference.
I love your perspective. I love your knowledge. 31 years. Kenny, what is tell me an amazing, and I think Frosty, the last time I was there was January of 2020. Is that when you went to go do that thing? Because I know Kenny had just told me, I just got off the phone with Frosty before I picked you up. He mad about something, and y'all be so hard on the promoters and the comedy out there. Why, Frost? Why?
Because everybody can do better, and we should do better.
Straight up.
If you want to treat it like an art form, Look, people accuse me of being too serious about the art form. I get it. Some people, comics just want to go on the road, get drunk, fuck waitresses, and just do their sets. I got no problem with that. That's not why I got into this. I got into this looking at up to people like Richard Pryor and George Carlin and Dick Gregory and the greats of the business that I wanted to emulate. And they had to do it by working hard. And so that's why I like to say, look, promoters can do better. Comedy clubs can do better. And so can comics. And if I can put the time and energy in, why can't others? So yeah, I do kind of hold them down to the fire more than other comics. And maybe I need to take a break a little bit from it, as we've learned in the last year and a half. But I still have that fire to be angry at people fucking up, not putting posters up, not doing the thing. Like, I'm supplying you with shit and you're not doing your job, and you want me to promote your club. This idea of selling out a club, I'd be like, fuck you. I'd rather have 6 people in there and never play your bitch hole again. Right? That's my attitude. If you're not going to meet me halfway, fuck you.
Straight. Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Frosty, I appreciate you coming on. Kenny Robinson, any parting words for the homie?
Chew some cherry gum, man.
That's right.
I always tell Darren, we used to get mad and angry, just chew some sour cherry gum. It's pretty hard to be mad when you're chewing that sour gum. It just kind of makes the face just pucker up like you're about to give somebody a kiss. So.
Peace, Darren. Thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
I'll give you a shout later. Thank you, Darren.
Oh, that was so cool. Kenny.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Yeah, I know. And I did it right. I did it right.
I was getting ready to say, is this one of those Bob Edwards, this is your life?
That's funny. Listen. The best part about it is, it's not this is your life, which is amazing. And look at God, how a brother that was in Manitoba and Chicago and your parents, and look at how you affected me. What if you didn't get your leg hurt that time and you wasn't in this crowd making the girls laugh? You wouldn't be able to affect Darren Frost like you did after 31 years. You wouldn't be able to affect me like you did after 26.
There might not be any black people telling jokes in Canada.
I mean, I look at it like, what if Kenny Robinson wasn't obedient? What if you was?
What if I took that knife to school and stabbed Lamar Head?
That's his name.
Or what if Lamar Head took the knife from me and stabbed me?
Hey, have you talked to him? Have you talked to him? Lamar Head, is he still alive? Do you know?
No, I couldn't tell you about anybody. There was a guy that used to shake me down for money named Big Wheel, and I heard that he got shot. So, but I haven't had contact with any of those people. But I'm one of those people. If I hear something good, I don't question it.
Right. Why rock the boat, right, dog?
Yeah, all my Chicago connections are pretty much gone because I've been away from there so long, and through high school and all that, and then after my brother who lived there died, there really was no reason to go back there. So it's just I took my kids there a couple of years ago to spread some of my mom's ashes, some of my brother's ashes up at the Point, which is this area in Hyde Park by the lake where when I was younger, we used to go there and drink beer and carry on. Then when my mother went to where my kid brother was, she'd go there with a belt looking for him. So I took both of their ashes up there, and we stayed at some local hotels because it was cheap. And then the last 2-3 days, I put them up. We stayed at the Congress Hotel downtown, so you could see the kind of places that Capone stayed in. And then we found the place over on the Gold Coast near Oprah's place for the last 2 days. So it's just
where Oprah at?
She's over on like Erie or Ontario or something. Mm-hmm. My brother, he married this woman. Then when she died, her family found out the money was used out of money from their trust fund. So they were able to evict him from this $800,000 condo. That's a good 10 years ago now. But I used to say I could see Oprah's big ass in the window when she get out of the shower, because he was right across from Oprah. And then they had a corner apartment. They were like on the 26th floor. And then there's that big Ferris wheel in Chicago at Navy Pier, and they have
Yeah.
fireworks. So you could just sit there in your living room and watch these beautiful fireworks every night and enjoy life, you know?
He was living like that.
Yeah, his wife was the first woman stockbroker in Illinois, but they both were bad drunks, and both of them died from effects of alcohol.
Ladies and gentlemen, this dude you see with the Pied Piper hat.
JP.
If you see 21 8-year-olds in the backyard with the R. Kelly glasses and I'm talking about what's really going on now. Hey, so ladies and gentlemen, this is John Paul. I'm gonna talk to him the same way I talk. We just had.
I was talking to one of the leaders of our Aboriginal tribes, and the chief said he wants his feather back.
Hilarious. How?
Hey, Kenny, when I say JP, what comes to your mind, dog?
For the run of the Nubians, he's been my right-hand man. Very proud of his accomplishments. He does comedy with intelligence, with integrity, you know, and a very ambitious young man. And, you know, that the comedy scene's just better all the way around because he's been a part of it, you know?
JP, Darren Frost, I asked Darren Frost with 31 years in the game, his top 5 Black Canadians in his whole career. He said Kenny, he said Russell, and he said you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how important John Paul is. He's just not a dude with a very pimpish hat that me and Kenny both is hating on a little bit. Like,
oh, I'm just making fun of the feather. I had to teach the boy to wear them hats.
I only wore the hat because it's Kenny. That's the only reason
Listen.
I wore the hat, or else I would have had a cap on.
JP, when I talk about Kenny Robinson, man, for the people that's watching and learning all this Canadian history, what does it mean to your career? And tell us where you're from and how y'all met.
So I'm originally from an island called Trinidad and Tobago. I'm originally from the Caribbean, but I grew up in Toronto. And so what Kenny means to me, without sounding cliche, is everything. Kenny literally means everything to me, for the simple fact that you in America, regardless of good or bad, are always reminded that you're Black or African American or whatever it is they choose to call, you know, Black people in America. You guys have a place there. In Canada, it's not as cut and dry. It's not as, no pun intended, it's not as black and white. So I've always felt the need to have to sort of push my voice, not push my voice down, but the voice that was deep inside of me. I didn't know how to
stay deep.
Yeah, I didn't know how to express it because I had nowhere to express it. The schools that I went to didn't necessarily have a curriculum, that allowed us to celebrate our culture, to celebrate our history, unless it was February, which is BS to begin with, because I always say, it's not a month for me. It's an everyday thing.
Must be nice to have 11 of them off. Go ahead.
but with Kenny literally changed the Canadian comedy landscape, like literally hands down by himself, changed the entire landscape, not just by doing what he did as a pioneer, but what he did by starting and founding the Nubian Disciples of Prior, like 26 years ago.
26 is past April.
Yeah, 26
I don't count
years
this
ago.
last year because we didn't do nothing.
I agree. We gonna celebrate. Don't get us wrong.
Oh, so you doing your 25 over again?
We have to.
Because we never got to do our 25.
Oh,
we were locked down. No.
Yeah, of course.
We have to.
Yeah, of course.
So how I see Kenny is, the same way that people spoke about Mooney, and saying, and that's kind of how I see Kenny in a sense. of how, regardless of what your interaction was with Paul Mooney, whether it was favorable or not favorable, is the exact same thing. Is the exact same thing I say about Kenny. Is regardless of what whether your interaction was favorable with Kenny or not, the thing you cannot do is deny his contribution. You cannot deny his importance, and you can't deny how important he is to the history and the culture of comedy, and Canadian comedy in general. You know, Kenny is he's an icon, man.
Who did not have a pleasurable experience with me?
I can name a few white comics that would.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Why? He must have told them they was horrible, or they couldn't follow him. Either way, so
I just adjusted a few neckties along the way.
But Kenny gave not just myself, but a ton of us comedians, you know, who weren't, you know, pigmented comedians, that didn't have a place or didn't have a voice or didn't feel like we had a voice. And what I love about Kenny as well is, you know, sometimes our mindset is, man, we go kick in the back door and we're gonna get in anyway. And Kenny was always like, nah, man, we're gonna walk in through the front and we're gonna walk in with our heads up.
Straight up.
And that is exactly how we're gonna walk in. We ain't gonna do it.
Mr. Tibbs.
And Kenny allowed us to do that. And one of the, and I don't know whether Kenny knows this or not, but one of those tear-jerker Denzel moments for me that I'll always remember is he made sure that when I got my first Just for Laughs gala in Montreal, he made sure he was there. And he made sure he was backstage.
Tell him what Just for Laughs is.
Just for Laughs, I guess, is like the premier comedy, the biggest international comedy festival in the entire world. It is the mecca of festivals. It's the one that you want to get if you are going to put a proverbial feather in your cap. Just for Laughs is the one, you know, that you want. And you know, Kenny was there when I got it. Kenny was there when I did it. And Kenny was the one with me after the shows when we hung out into the early hours of the morning, drinking.
Carry your garment bag.
And eating poutine and having a few beverages, and there was nobody else in the world that I would have wanted by my side when that happened.
Y'all just casually heard him say poutine. It's French fries with gravy on them. That's it.
And cheese curds.
and cheese curds.
Cheese curds.
And the gravy melts the cheese over the fries. It's so good too.
It's beyond good. It's such a, after you done laughing at the joke of how it sounds, eat some. You go, you gonna want some. So
well, that was like that night in Niagara Falls when you was all liquored up and you yelled in the restaurant, "Who wants poutine? I'm buying poutine for everybody." You remember that, Griff? That was night I had to tell everybody that Mama gone.
JP, do you remember Magnum and the Bamboo Club?
I remember Magnum for a few reasons. One, he was one of the few promoters I knew that paid comedians in chicken wings, and he was.
Chicken
bones. Am I lying though? Am I lying?
Why he said it was such a calm, like you thought he was gonna say opposite of what Kenny said. Just chicken wings, dog. Did you eat? Yeah, I had some wings. All right.
Hell yeah. And that was it. And yeah, man.
That was the one story. What was the second thing you remember Magnum about?
I don't know. Other than his Jerry curl.
A little Jerry Curly, dog.
This in 1997, 95.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have had a Jerry Curl.
This was post Jerry Curl.
You shouldn't have had a Jerry Curl in 97.
You're not even supposed to be able to find products of Jerry Curl in 97. You're not.
He was on his whole World of Curls gel. That's what he was on. The clear one. Hold on, JP.
Peaches and Herb didn't even have Jerry Curls when he had them.
JP, what was that moment with Kenny in Montreal, man? Explain to my audience. So here you are, a Trinidad. First of all, I just found out because I went, shout out to Trinidad for reals. because I went to my first Juve
Oh,
a couple years ago.
whew.
But look though, it was in the Virgin Islands. It was in VI.
Doesn't matter, man.
It was in St. Thomas. It was amazing.
It's an
My head was
experience.
blown. I was like, shut up. They don't go to sleep. We got
Paint and
It's-
mud and
it's bananas. And they said Trinidad's
oh yeah,
Juve.
yeah.
They said it lasts 10 days and you need 4 just to recover.
Yeah.
Have you been to one? Is that a dumb question?
Yeah, very dumb. I've probably in the last 22 years, 23 years, not including the pandemic and the lockdown, I've maybe missed 2.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's one of
What
those that I
time
got
of the
to
year
go.
is it?
February, when it's cold. February, it depends. It's so the carnival Monday, Tuesday is the Monday, Tuesday before Ash Wednesday. So you know how Ash Wednesday moves, right?
Oh, got it.
So whenever that is, so it's usually like mid February to like early March, sometime in between there.
So
Yeah.
February 25th, you can't get a hotel in Trinidad.
No, that's why I'm glad I'm from there, man. So, but going back to I'm assuming this is what you were getting at as far as Montreal and doing Montreal with Kenny. It was a full realization of one of my dreams and one that was made possible by the seed that Kenny planted when I was 28, this kid with long hair and a ponytail and braids because I wanted to be like Iverson and if it's one thing that Kenny never did was what he did was gave us options, but what he never did was tell us what to do other than try to express yourself and tell your stories. And I can never thank him enough, for making me proud of the stories that I have to tell and that I continue to tell and to represent us and to represent myself and to represent the Nubian disciples of Prior. I'm OG, man. I will be OG Nubian disciple till I die.
Man. Straight up.
100
I'm gonna
grand.
get a Nubian branding iron, and for the 25th anniversary, we all gonna get that shit burnt on our arm.
Like the Q's. I'm coming too. I'm gonna get mine burnt. They're gonna be like, Griff, what is that? I'm gonna go, a mistake. That's what that is.
It was a lapse of judgment.
Thank you for being on, man.
Thank you. Dude, it's
I
an
will talk to
honor.
you soon, dog.
It's an honor to be on this with 2 of the most selfless dudes inside and outside of comedy that I've ever had the opportunity of meeting. I love you 2 both dearly.
Good to see you, man. I miss you.
Peace. I miss you too, bro. We get out on Friday. You know that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's my dude. This actually is going so much better than I wanted it to be. This is kind of awesome. I might do that from now on because you can. And the audio gonna be clean, and I actually like that right there. I'm a fan of what I just did. Kenny, you make me think when I'm sitting here thinking about you. How about that? Because I literally called them both 30 minutes ago and was like,
that's because we got no gigs. Everybody's home.
Are they?
Man, we look at freedom when everybody in America is working, doing shows, y'all act like there never was a pandemic going on.
Oh no, we know, we recognize the pandemic. It's just that you're
done.
Huh?
We still can't sit inside a restaurant yet. They're just letting us get back to having patios this weekend in Ontario.
Oh, okay, got it. So you ain't never been able to. Okay, so when the pandemic hit in April, June-ish, we was able to go. July, we was definitely able to go in restaurants with masks on.
Not here. I feel like I may never get to a movie theater again in my lifetime.
Let me tell you something. I saw Cruella yesterday.
Okay.
With my family, and go see it when you can, but it looked like it ain't gonna be no time. So it's on Disney Plus. I'll give you my password.
Okay. Y'all make noise in the movie theater?
It was my second time going to the movie theater in a week, and out of all of COVID, that's what I missed the most. This is such a dumb thing to say, but I'm a 2 times at least once guaranteed at the movies a week person, you know?
Yeah.
And when I sat there last week, I was like, because I think of 2020, when they say quarantine and pandemic, I think of 2020 like this. In February, you brought me to Nunavut.
None of it.
None of it. None of it.
Hmm.
I don't know how you say it. None of it. It's tell them what none of it is. Explain it to them.
None of it is like about 10 minutes away from the North Pole. In the summertime, good thing we didn't go in the summer. In the summertime, the sun is still out at 2 a.m.
Wow.
In the winter, sometimes they only have daylight for 2 hours.
For the whole winter, I'll be.
Yeah, a snowmobile is as common as motorcycles are down here.
Snow machine.
They got to fly all the food in except for what is hunted and gathered down there. Best winter clothes in the world because it gets 50 below, 45, 50 below.
Hold on. I'm so glad you said that. I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, when he said best winter clothes, I'm talking about seal skin
coats.
You understand, with the puff, a wolf puff like you ain't never seen. They've been lying to us. When I went there and I saw a hooded fur jacket, I said, oh, that's a fur jacket. These jackets hold minus 40 at least. And they sweet, like they got the fur.
They got the Aboriginal people artwork attached to it. And yeah.
You took me there in February. I got a raise. I got engaged. I got married. I had my first Griffin grandson. I didn't have a grandfather on my mom's side or my dad's side. I know not. I just found out my mom's daddy name like 2 months ago. And I can't remember what it is right now. What's his damn name? It's something. Oh, it's Isaac. And I only know Isaac because Isaac Caree. So all me and my brothers and sisters just found out our grandfather name 2 weeks ago. Okay. So I had 2 grandkids. I had a boy, and my son that I raised had a daughter. So I got a granddaughter too. I moved.
Bought a house.
2020 was the best year I had in many, you know. It's crazy that Canada, to me, one of the best medical, political. I love Trudeau. I'm a fan of him and his daddy. His daddy is like a triple OG. Like Trudeau is just a young
friends
G.
with Castro.
He a young G, dog.
That's the rumor, though. That's part of the rumor that
That's why Canadians could go to Cuba.
Yeah. Plus, there's a rumor that Justin Trudeau's real daddy is Fidel, but I think that's just being mean. But when he's got his beard, he kind of looks more like Fidel than he does Pierre. Wow. But Canada didn't have any beef with Cuba. That's why you go to Cuba and it's all Canadians there. That's why when you come up to visit, every American wants to buy Cuban cigars and smoke them before they return to the States, because customs will confiscate them because they are contraband.
Oh, you ain't got no funk with Canada. I learned about that in a movie I saw. Then I started reading about it. I said, oh, Canada ain't never had funk with Cuba. Like that's y'all's resort. That's where y'all go for summers and resorts. And
people go there, spend the winter in Cuba.
How about that?
And they ain't calling us Yankees there, But I mean, I never thought I'd see a statue of Arafat, but I saw a statue of Arafat near the Canadian embassy in Havana. So the whole world called Arafat a terrorist, except for Cuba and South Africa. They called him a freedom fighter. So once again, how you flip your coin, right?
Hey, chew the cherry gum, dog.
That's it. Impossible to be angry when you got that sour cherry gum going.
What it make your face do, dog?
It just makes you just feel like you can't.
Kenny, man. Okay, so it's the last thing I want to talk to you about. I hope y'all check out on me. I don't care. Because this is about to be my most fun part. Hockey right now, dog. Who you excited? I know you're a diehard Blue Jays baseball fan and
I'm a
Maple
Chicago
Leaf.
Cub fan. My Chicago teams come first with everything.
Oh,
But the
got
Jays got a good young team. But lately, I've been kind of leaning towards them White Sox because the owner of the Cubs, he did a fundraiser for Trump. And then when I think about growing up in Chicago, I was a Cub fan because they're on TV every day. But I could look out my window and see White Sox Park from there. So when they had that old exploding scoreboard, I could hear it. And then I turned on the UHF channel to where the game was and see who hit that home run. And they also had the best giveaway stuff. You know, they had bat day, batting helmet day, batting glove day.
White Sox was right in the hood, right? Like the thing in Chicago is white people with the Cubs, black people with the White Sox, right?
Except whites on the other side of the track, that if you're on their side of the track after midnight, a black man could lose his life. So I think they call them trailer park people now. But trailer park people, you know, the whites that are most likely to call you the N-word were also White Sox fans. Whereas Cub fans would just ask security to keep an eye on you. They were politer. You know, so, but lately I've been liking them Sox more. When I think about it, they had Dick Allen, and he was like smoking cigarettes in the dugout. And, you know, they allowed Minnie Minosa to still play when he was like 57 years old, so he can get that last little bit of time in to get that pension.
Yeah.
And you know, they just, you know, when you think about the, you know, they threw their owner, Charles Kaminsky, was a terrible cheat bastard. So they threw the World Series. I mean, you know.
I saw all them movies, dog. I saw all of them, dog.
So I'm starting to appreciate the White Sox more.
Oh, really?
Why did I ever not?
They remind you of your mama a little bit, huh? Just
yeah,
you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do in the big game.
Sometimes it's not always legitimate, but Chicago Blackhawks didn't make it to the playoffs, but I mean, they had their nice little run. My Winnipeg Jets hometown got swept by the Montreal Canadiens. For those of you not familiar with hockey, Montreal Canadiens are like the New York Yankees, LA Lakers, Boston Celtics, Green Bay Packers, Dallas Cowboys, Boston Patriots, New England. That's how old I am when they were Boston. They are like one of the great sports franchises. So they were down 3-1 to Toronto, came back and beat them. Yeah. And then went and swept my Winnipeg Jets. So right now, Montreal would be if Montreal wins, it'd be the first time since 1993 the Stanley Cup's been won by a Canadian team. It's all been American controlled ever since. So I've got to kind of hope for Montreal. But also I like them Las Vegas Knights.
Them boys.
Plus, they got a brother from Winnipeg, my hometown. His name is Reeves. And he'll be the first to drop gloves, and he's always a fighter. And his father played in the CFL. They named a street after his father because his father set the record for most touchdowns in Canadian football history.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's, you know, so that was...
Who did his dad play for?
Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
That's the only team?
I think so. So his father came up there, you know, and set all the records, found a woman, and had a kid. His kid grew up playing hockey, and now his kid drops gloves and beats people's ass for the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Come on.
Yeah, so I may cheer. I'm definitely cheering for the Knights to beat everybody in America. Right. Except for I think it's Tampa. I now think may have a line with 3 black players on it now. I think they do.
Tampa does. I know. I've been watching. I'm a hockey fan. I went to a Dallas. Dallas was so horrible this year. The Stars, they were so good last year. Nobody was ready for Tampa. They didn't. Nobody was reading on Tampa because they went like
Tampa's
8-0.
consistent. Yeah, every year Tampa's a threat. You know,
but how good were they? Oh, answer me this. So the NHL just said yesterday, the day before, now Americans can come. What's that about? Explain that.
Okay, the border's been closed because of the pandemic.
Got it. Which means Boston can't play Montreal.
Yeah. So the past 2 years, last year and this year, that's why we have a Northern Division where all the Canadian teams just played each other. for the whole season. So now that there's only one Canadian team left, they said, well, in order to make the Stanley Cup good, we're going to have to allow whatever American team it is that, that has to play Montreal to come here. So one American team will be coming to face the Montreal Canadiens. But I mean, the Raptors had to play their whole year in Florida. The Blue Jays had their spring training in Florida. Now they're playing out of Buffalo because that's their farm team affiliate.
Wow.
So they fixed up the ballpark in Buffalo to make it major league worthy or as close to it as they can.
Nice.
But we got people up here going, so why are you going to change the law now? The Americans can come here for hockey. So it's like, well, do you not want to be a part of the Stanley Cup Finals? So they had to cut some slack in that regards. But
you see my Willie O'Ree right there.
Yes, that's nice.
See my Will. He gave me that when Atlanta had the Thrashers.
Okay.
They was trying to, Atlanta all black. They was trying to explain hockey to these black people in Bankhead. So
but what they need to do is they should have went and got as many black players as they could.
They had a chance.
That had made the sell. They could have got. I don't know if Grant Fuhr was still playing goalie then, but there was Pokey.
That's when they had that Russian boy was their number one pick. Then his best friend killed him. His best friend remember that what was their name?
Car accident.
Yep.
Yeah.
And somebody died, and it was a 1-2. Them two.
Okay.
And then that one boy killed his friend, and then
you got to watch some hockey boys when it comes to driving. They do not hesitate to get behind the wheel after drinking all night.
Oh, man.
That's because I grew up in prairie towns for the most part. So there were no taxis. There were no buses. So, if you had to drink over at the honky tonk on the outskirts of town all night, you just had to drive your ass home with your truck.
Right.
They take their chances.
Straight up. But he was in a Lamborghini.
The truck just got prettier. But the driver's license and the logic behind what got behind the wheel was the same.
Kovacic. We had Kovacic.
Yes.
Was the number one back then when, like you said, if they'd have got, so they was taking Willie O'Ree around with this giant semi truck trying to teach people hockey,
I showed you that one here in Toronto when you were here that one day.
No, I know, but that was the black. They had one that was hella big, like a bunch of kids could get on and play. Everybody get a stick and a big.
Oh wow!
Yeah, one of those. It did not sell, and they left.
Mm-hmm. They moved to Winnipeg.
Yeah, straight up.
But then Winnipeg, when they didn't have enough private boxes being sold, they wound up. The original Jets moved to Phoenix. And became the Coyotes. So then the Thrashers moved up to Winnipeg and took the old Jets name back.
Got it. Oh,
it'd be like a new franchise being the Cleveland Browns or the Houston Oilers.
Understood. Yeah, got it. So in baseball, who you like in what team you looking at real strong in baseball?
I'm live or die with the Cubs. I mean, I'm so used to not being in a playoff or in a pennant contention that, when they won, I didn't even really respond because I said, man, you've cheered since you were 9 years old. Now you're a grown ass man. All your boyhood heroes that were on the team have died. So how are you going to really celebrate now?
It'd be like, if the Raiders won, dog, if we won a championship, dog, I've been screaming Raider Nation since I was a child.
You're not going to go out and get drunk and kick over a car. No, because you've invested your entire life, and now it's kind of like, well, I can die now that I've seen it. It's that kind of approach to it. You can your sons, if you raise them to be Raiders, they may have a little bit more celebration, but they have already partied in other cities that won championships. So it'll be a new thing. But I'll tell you what, the Dodgers, you can never turn your back on. I am liking the White Sox. They've got some powerful looking, they got a very explosive ball club with that one. And they got that old Tony La Russa as their manager who doesn't want players hitting home runs with the bases loaded when you're up ahead. And he's old school, which, I think it's time for him to retire. But, because they used to call their team the Southside Hitmen. So that's that was a nickname back in the 80s when I would hate them without cause or restriction.
South
So,
side.
but I like San Diego. I think San Diego's a very
Hey,
powerful.
Tatis Jr. ain't no joke. I like your boy in with the Blue Jays. That's sweet. The son.
Vladdy Jr.
Junior.
They were talking about getting rid of him all winter long
Was they?
because he was fat, and they're waiting for him to be the ball player he is now. So you know how the media and then something that they can just jump on a player because he's an instant payoff.
Yeah.
You know, so let's trade him. Well, he can't play third. Well, he's overweight. Well, he hasn't learned how to hit the slider. Well, now he's doing all that.
Yeah.
And he's Hall of Fame genes. Just like Prince Fielder used to be Hall of Fame. You cannot ignore
Cecil's son.
Yeah, you cannot ignore the offspring of such talent like that.
Come on. Period.
Yeah, I mean Ken Griffey Jr. So, but Toronto's like that though. If you're not instantly the best player around, they want to chase you out of town. Toronto really town.
So still no fans and nothing in the sports.
Nope. You can pay $65 and have a cutout of you made, and I think they used to put it in the ballpark. And then I think at the end of the season they let you have your cutout back.
Yeah, it's 50. It was 50 for the Rangers last year. So the Rangers got that new dome where they played the World Series at. I'm going to my third Rangers game at the new spot.
Now, didn't everybody get COVID after the first game when they had no mask?
39,000 no mask. Look, no.
I hate that. I hate when people do like all them Trump rallies. I wanted everybody to be dropping from it. I hate when people just ignore science and they go, well, science wrong.
I don't know why the sun is going up, but I don't care what the moon say. If a moon come up tonight, I'm driving to Canada.
I'm sad Florida hasn't we can't believe the casualties because they just ignored it all.
Dog, I was in Florida 2 weeks ago, and I thought Atlanta. Now I've been to Atlanta, but Atlanta was off the chain too. But that was in the clubs and still in the stores in the airport. They had masks on. Dog, Florida 2 weeks ago was like, psst. The lady, I said, oh man, I forgot a mask. Can I have a mask? She said, the mandate was lifted. It's fine.
Florida, they spit in each other's mouths when they have sex. They don't care.
That's the sex.
The other stuff's just a bonus. But yeah, meanwhile, they are crying that the moms and pop stores, the small operators, weren't making any business here. So with all the big box stores, they put restrictions on what they could sell. So even at the Dollarama, the dollar store now, you can't buy a Father's Day card because it's not considered essential.
Shut up.
Yeah, so you got to go. So instead of getting one for $1, you got to go to the little mom and pop store where they want $6.50 for their Hallmark Father's Day card.
Oh, they forcing you to go to the little ones so they can eat, and they 900%.
Yeah, when I saw how the mom and pa's are doing, I say F mom and pa.
Man, let's get some aunties and uncles around here. Mom and pa is tripping.
Give me the big box store. I'll keep my 6 feet distance from the next person with a cart full of unessential items.
So still in Canada in June of 2021.
In Ontario. Other provinces may be different.
Okay, but in Ontario, where
I can't buy socks or underwear at Walmart or Costco because they're not considered essential.
Wow. That's jokes for days that you can't do on stage.
No stage to go to. I got asked to do a park show the other night, and a year ago, I turned down all offers to do parks.
Yeah.
So I said...
because, and not in the back, so the people in America is like, parks is dope, but that was because of COVID. They was forced to be fresh. Normally at park shows, everybody having fun at the park, and some fool is on stage talking. Like, they're not set up very nice.
Oh, and then there may be people in the park that don't want to hear comedy, or because it's an uninvited audience, they're going to pass the hat around, and or you may, the situation is not the best controlled. So I turned the gig down. I said a year ago, you was proud enough and badass enough not to play in the park. So what's changed? And I said, well, ain't nothing changed. I'm a nightclub performer. I'm not a park performer.
Huh.
I did do a show in a backyard though, a
It's
couple
gonna
of
be
times.
too hot for you to wear a suit at a park, homie.
I wear linen, but I mean the point. No, but the point is just I cannot. That's fine for open micers and them younger comics are gonna wear shorts. I can't. I cannot go do a show in a park.
Straight up.
I'm a,
Kenny,
you
I
know, they
gotta
call
go,
me the
man.
Godfather of comedy. You know, I can't go wear of Canadian comedy. I can't go be in a park.
Listen, you such a triple OG, dog. Like for me, just always being under you, man. Before I go, what's something so they can understand our relationship? What's something that's always been consistent about me with you? Now I can't count for other folk. Like they said, there's a couple people that don't like you, Kenny Robinson. But
They never tell me that.
that's all we saying, right? Just say, hey, we not cool and keep it moving.
Yeah, but whoever does like me don't tell. They haven't taken the effort to tell me personally, and it's not like I'm a violent man or anything. But I mean, it's just one thing. If I live to be 100 and plus, you are probably the most positive, spiritual man I know. I said this once, I said it 1,000 times. I'm a believer, but I don't go to church often. But usually I get my church in from Reverend Griff. You're always positive. You ain't never set back. You're just slowed down and delayed. There's a joy for all things of this world that you just it just pours from through your skin. So there's nothing more positive than you. I mean, perfect example, when my mom died, you just showed up in Toronto a week later, and I said, well, I gotta go do this gig, and we got tore up going to Niagara Falls.
We did it for your mama, dog. Look,
She was a proof of that.
We did it for your mama so hard, dog. I don't know who I told, but I was like, I got my homeboy mama passed. Like I said, I figure I'd give him a week to just digest, and then he got to perform. And I already know it's about to be his mama show. So I'm about to go see the funniest show.
I wish I had taped that. I said terrible stuff to people. I said, anybody know the promoter? This woman goes, I do. I'm friends with him. I said, you and every other fat white woman with a bank account. Oh, yeah, I was an animal.
Dog.
And then the bouncers asked us to lower it down on the bar side. I said, sorry if my mama's wake is disturbing anybody. Oh, then I was wearing a cream-colored suit, and these boys went to the bar next door, and they said, I was out there by myself, and they said, oh, we got Colonel Sanders here. And I said, you feel like getting some chicken, motherfucker? Oh, I wish I had taped that I did a whole bit about Mama Gone.
Oh.
I got 99 problems, but a mom ain't one.
Dog. So the crowd was so disturbed. He basically did a set as if his mama was sitting in the front row. And it was amazing.
She'd have left. She'd have said, this is terrible. This is not professional. This shame on you. Worked all these years to establish a reputation, and this is how you're going to show your ass. I told the owner, he's lucky I came.
Listen, you went so hard. Every time
I told
you
the
walked
promoter
away,
starting an hour and a half late was unacceptable.
Every time you walked away, I was talking to the owner and the promoter. His mama died. He just gone. It's I promise you, like, and they was like, what's your excuse? I was like, it was like both our mamas. Like,
she was like an aunt to me.
I'm here. That's my family right there. Like, Kenny, I gotta go, man.
All right, I
love
gotta
you.
get ready for my workshop, my youth comedy workshop. It's our big show tonight.
So you still signing people up, still jumping on Zooms and Teams and.
Well, this is what I'm doing. This is I'm part of this program called Windows to Opportunity, and what we've been doing is we've been my goal is to expose youth, particularly youth of color, to to the arts in this organization. So my thing is comedy, spoken word, performance arts. So I mean, like Frosty did a workshop 2 weeks ago on doing voiceovers and cartoons, and trying to show them how to do cartoon voices, and had everybody practice doing that, and trying to teach everybody, if you wanted to get interested, how you make a tape to go see about getting a voiceover agent. And then I had Aisha Brown, who's been writing for this TV show, which is called This Hour 22 Minutes. And she just won an award because she called for first Black woman ever, because Crave TV is like our HBO. She was the first Black woman ever to have a Crave TV comedy special. So she did a workshop for the kids. So
Nice.
I've got a bunch of kids who've never been on stage before, and we've been working since January. So now we got to do a Zoom show.
Nice.
So, it's available on a link, and it's free. And also I was trying to teach the kids to be promoters. So because we got funding, each performer who brings in a guest gets $10 per person who watches Zoom for free. So we're gonna put
you putting them on gang.
So we're gonna put some money in the youngsters' pockets.
Yeah.
And then for the ones that didn't want to perform, but just who are coming, I said, well, then you'll get $5 a person for everybody that, uses your code to get into the Zoom show. So, you could walk out of here. Depends how many relatives and friends you get to sign up with, a couple of $100.
You ain't got.
So we got one girl who starts university next year, goes, well, that should get me a textbook. And another kid wanted to get a video game. And another one, and they're all doing material that's very, very dark.
Oh, I know it. I know. When I want to jump on it. When is it? Tell me after.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Yeah, send it to me.
We're 5 to 7, and so I mean, I've had guest speakers in to do the workshops with them, and
I would love to talk to them one day.
Yeah, well, we just found out that we got the funding for again next year, so I definitely will have you in on that one. And so I got to do that that starts at 5 o'clock. So I'm pretty sure it's close to kickoff time.
You got about 90 minutes. I appreciate you, homie. Thank you for being on.
Love you, man. Can barely wait till we go out and get drunk again. Well, now that you're married, you don't do that.
Oh no, I get down with. I would get well.
Remember when I booked you that one gig and I hadn't seen you in a long time, and I was afraid you was gonna do all that Christian comedy for me? And you looked at me like I'd lost my mind.
You was like, you kept saying, it's like John Paul said, you ain't never gonna tell nobody what to do, but you kept saying, so that's the material you going with, right? Like that's like with this.
Well, we got that mutual friend of ours in Detroit, and he, every time he came to do my show, he killed. And then he started doing all the Christian shows. So he came up dropping that Christian stuff, and audiences my crowd started to boo him. And I'm like dying of embarrassment because I always respected this man and his beliefs. When he spoke at Big Daddy's funeral, I said, I need someone to say that shit about me when it's my time, and the fact that the crowd was not going to go. I mean, he may play in front of 3,000 people on a Sunday, but the 300 I had didn't care about that
at all.
And you had just started doing a lot, doing a lot more of those shows and what have you. So I said, well, I hope. And then you said, no, I still drink that. What was that, limeade, or what was that lemon vodka you used to drink?
Well, that's how long you know me. I had drank Bacardi Limon real hard, but then I was on Crown Royal with 3 ices. Any more than 3, you bruise the liquor.
Well, when Mama gone, we just did that Jameson, and I blame that damn Trevor Gumby for getting me on that crack.
It's such a giant honor. That's all I'm saying, y'all.
So, so I still remember this. You said, no, man, I still do. So I said, okay. And then as soon as I heard the first MF out of you, I knew I could go upstairs and not worry. Everything was going to be
walked
okay.
away. That was the night a bug was on stage. I was on
And you got it.
I said, when I catch this bug, I'm out. Now I was talking. My name is Griff.
Yep. That was, yeah. Also, you told that girl she had a face like a skillet. That little Asian girl, you said you looked like
11 smiles.
Yeah, you said look at you. She was short, but you said look at you, that big ass face, them big ass hands. You look like a mascot. You said your head looked like a skillet. I could make a Denver omelet on your face. And then you sang Miley Cyrus karaoke after.
Party in the USA. That's my guy. That's how we gonna end it, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny Robinson, I love you, dog. I'll talk to you soon.
End it with the donkey story. Donkey is disrespectful. Okay, Party in the USA it is. I love you, man. It's impossible not to feel good seeing you.
Wow. How cool was that? Kenny Robinson, ladies and gentlemen. Straight up, Kenny Robinson. That was awesome. That was awesome, and that's my time. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for watching the Digital Talk Show. Just thank you. Even no matter when you watch this, if you watch it live, if you watch it in 3 months, you could just comment. Please subscribe to my YouTube link. If you are watching that, if you're on Facebook, one of those, you can like something. I don't know. I don't like that. That's so bossy telling people what to do at the end. I got to go. Y'all have an amazing Thursday night. Messed around and got a password for an app that I'm about to watch a movie with my family. So I'll see you guys next Thursday. Take care. Stay blessed.
Come on. 2 trillion dollars. We give 2 trillion dollars. He's got dogs from the west side, taking all the way to the east side. Now everybody just feel the vibe. Now say 2 trillion dollars, baby. Let's talk about it. Gotta talk about it. Let's think about it. Think about it. 2 trillion dollars, baby.
Mr. Talk Box.